So thank you all for coming. Thank you for your time. And I don't know why I'm here, in the sense that why I have been Guru Maharaj's great mercy that he wanted me to give this class, but I'm sincerely saying that I'm thoroughly unqualified. And there are so many wonderful devotees here. I'm looking at Shriman Radhikaraman Prabhu here, that I just wish I can disappear from here. So please tolerate me for the next hour or so. And I hope that you get something meaningful out of the class today. Also, I would like to say that one of my friends and godbrothers is going through a lot of suffering and distress. So I sincerely pray to Shri Radha Damodarji to relieve their suffering as soon as possible in the best possible way. And I request you all to do the same as well, please. And I dedicate this class to them. Okay. We will start with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahi Tiswa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utah Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, we will recite the invocation for Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhagavat Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay. So the topic for today is, the topic, as you all know, for the whole series is Srimad Bhagavatam, the only refuge, or the refuge in the age of Kali. And the topic for that I wanted to discuss today is these verses. Canto 12, chapter 6, the first few verses, up to 10, but we'll see how far we can go. But these are in very important verses, and these are the final words of Maharaja Pariksit. So just, to kind of, there are people or devotees of various levels. So I'll just say that the Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, and the first canto is primarily spoken by Sri Suta Goswami. And at the end of the first canto in the 19th chapter is when Srila Shukadeva Goswami arrives on the scene. And as you all know, Parikshit Maharaj was looking for the best possible use of his last 7 days. He was cursed to die in 7 days. And there were so many of the sages that were present to assist him. He was the emperor of the whole planet Earth. And he had no dearth of association. Everybody was ready to give his association to the emperor. And yet, they were waiting for the right person. And that's when Srila Shukadeva Goswami appears out of his great mercy. We will talk about that. And then there's a wonderful conversation that ensues for the next, we can say, 10 and a half cantos. And then at this point, at the end of the 5th chapter, Sri Shukadeva Goswami says, Etat te kathitam tata yad atma prishtavan nripa harer vishwatmanas cheshtam kim bhuyah shrotum ichhasi. Kim bhuyah shrotum ichhasi. What else do you want to hear? Shrotum, hear, ichhasi, you want to. And before that, he says that etat te kathitam tata yad atma prishtavan nripa. My dear king, whatever you had asked me, I have answered you. So he's just saying that, you have asked wonderful questions. And please, let me know what else you want to ask. And he says one very beautiful line there, Harer Vishwatmanas Cheshtam. That he says that including or pretty much 2 topics. Harer Vishwatmanas Cheshtam. Cheshta means activities. Now many of you may know Hindi, Cheshta means attempt, but the other meaning is activity, and the word Cheshta is used as Leela. Leela of the Lord or Cheshta of the Lord. So Leelas of the Lord, of who? Vishwatmanas, Harer Vishwatmanas. So Srila Sridhar Swami, who is considered to be the original commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam, in his Sridhari Tika to this verse, the last verse, this is the last verse of the 5th chapter. He says that primarily 2 things have been discussed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vishwatmanas and Hari, Cheshta, which means the activities of the majestic Lord, Vishwatma. He is the super soul of the entire material creation, as the 3 Purusha avatars. And so that's his majestic, his Aishwarya. And I have also spoken about Hari, the sweetness. So Hari is representing the sweetness, the Madhurya. And Vishwatmanas is representing the majesty, the Aishwarya. So and that is essentially, if you think, the content of the Srimad Bhagavatam. There are so many incarnations of the Lord that are discussed, which you can broadly classify in these two categories, like Sri Vaman Dev. In 2 steps, he covered the whole universe. And, Narsinghadev, this Adbhut form, never ever before seen, tearing out of a pillar, and in so easily killing the biggest demon who was undefeated, unbeatable. So all those are the majestic Leelas of the Lord. And the sweetest Leelas are in the Dasham Skand, the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So all that has been described, and then he says, Kim bhuyah shrotum ichhasi. So that is how this section begins. And now 7 days are over. There was this curse to, that's on death is imminent. Takshak is going to arrive. And in the 5th chapter earlier, Sri Shukadev Goswami is already saying in the previous verses, now Takshak is going to arrive, but you are completely protected, and so on and so forth. So it's already on the minds of both the personalities that the end is near. But still, out of his great mercy, Shukadev Goswami is asking, what else do you want to hear? And that is how the 5th chapter ends. And now begins the 6th chapter, and this basically constitutes the final 6 verses spoken by Pariksit Maharaj. The last verse which we just said, what else do you want to hear, was the last verse by Sri Shukadev Goswami. Nothing else. That's it. Those were his last words. And then Pariksit Maharaj begins to speak the last 6 verses of his life, so to say, So, the reason I picked up this topic is because he knew he had 7 days to live, and no less also. He knew he had we don't know we have 7 days. Can we guarantee? No. Hopefully we all have many more years than that. It's a very young crowd, more or less. But we don't know, honestly speaking, whether we have even 7 days. But he knew he had 7, because otherwise the curse would be falsified. And the point is that he was trying to find out what is the best possible way to use these 7 days. And the reason I picked this section is to see whether his intention or what he felt at the end of those 7 days. And the learning from this should be that for us, hopefully we all have more than 7. How should we live our life so that at the end of our life, when we look back, what is the feeling that we want to have at that point in our life? A completely satisfied feeling that, given a second chance, would I have lived my life exactly the same way? Or, oh shoot, I should have done something different. And that would be a very, and you cannot really rewind the clock. And so while we are well, we should strive to live our life in a way that we can feel satisfied about, that we can feel at peace with. And therefore, we should ourselves ask this question periodically. Have I lived the last, every company does a quarterly review or an annual review. We should do a quarterly or annual review of our spiritual life. Would I have lived the last 3 months or the last year or 6 months in a way that I really wanted to live? And if the answer is no too many times in a row, then we should do something about it. So it's very interesting to hear what Pariksit Maharaj has to say at the end of his 7 days. These are the final 7 days, and he really, really wanted to use it in the best possible way. And let us see what he says. So let us. So I don't have any great, extra material on the slides. All I have on the slides are the verses. So with the translation and all that. And in each slide, I have tried to highlight a particular point, a word and its corresponding meaning in the translation, to use that as a focus point. But we will discuss the verses, and also we will sing the verses, if that's okay. Most of them, and we'll see how we are doing on the time, and we might speed up. This is a beautiful verse in a very beautiful meter called Vasanta Tilakam, which is the same as the Brahma Samhita meter. So please recite after me. Suta uvacha etan. I'm not a very good on singing. Etan nishamya munina bhihitam parikshid. Vyasatmajena nikhilatma drisha samena. Tat padamulam upasritya natena murdhna. Baddhanjalistamidamaha sa vishnurataha. So now Suta Goswami begins this chapter. The next, from 2 to 7, 6 verses are spoken by Sri Pariksit Maharaj. So 2 to 7 that will be. So Sri Suta Goswami, there, as you know, Srimad Bhagavatam is conversations within conversation. So Suta Goswami is starting it off this chapter by saying, Etan nishamya munina bhihitam parikshid. That on hearing nishamya, this Purana, Etan, narrated by Sri Shukadev Goswami, he did the following. And he is now describing Sri Shukadev Goswami, Vyasatmajena. So Atmaja means son, Vyasa Atmaja, the son of Vyasadev, which is Shukadev Goswami. Nikhilatma Drisha Samena, who looks at all Drisha as equal. You know, he sees the Supreme Lord in everyone. Now here is the point I wanted to focus on. Now, there is so much to focus on each verse. And by the way, these are some of the verses. I have looked at the Sridhari Tika, I have looked at Kram Sandarbha by Sri Jiva Goswami, and I have looked at the Sarartha Darshini by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and the BBT purports. I'm saying BBT purports because these were the purports written after the departure of Srila Prabhupada. Don't have very significant commentaries on these, but still, by going into the verses, and this is our cheshta, and literally this is cheshta, attempt to go into the verses and the word by word meanings. In all of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the most interesting thing I find personally are the word by word meanings, what is known as it's called the Anvaya, or the synonyms, whatever we call it, where we get, at least I can, there's so much to draw out. Like you're looking for, there's a game where in the water you look for some toys or whatever in which you can't see, and you're looking, and then you catch a toy and you bring it out. So, you get all these points by, grabbing out from so you have to, it's just so pleasurable to grab out these things from the verses. So, Tat pada moolam. So please pay attention on these words. Tat means on Shukadev Goswami's. Pada moolam. Pada means feet. Moolam means under, the bottom. There is this verse, 15th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, first verse. How does it start? Urdhva moolam adha shakha. So, Mula, Urdhva, Moolam means the roots are, Mula means roots are up. So, Mula means the root, the bottommost part. Tat pad, below the feet. Upasritya, he went up to. Now, this is the first time Sri Shukadev Goswami is getting up from his seat. He was glued to his seat for 7 days. Now he is getting up. Natenam urdhna. The way to pronounce it would be natenam urdhna. Natena means, जैसे कहते हैं ना हिंदी में नत मस्तक, नत, he put his head down. Very nicely Radhikaraman Prabhuji had described, putting the head not only down to the feet, not down to the ground, but under his feet. Imagine that situation, Literally he's, just completely surrendering himself. Urdhna means the top, urdha. Urdha mula means the roots are up, like the up part of our body, of his body is the head. So urdhna means head. He's putting it under his feet. So after hearing Radhikaraman Prabhuji's class, we can all understand that the first thing he's doing is Namaha. He's bowing down to Sri Shukadeva Goswami. And the question is, why does he bow down under his, or so nicely walk up to him and put his head under his feet? And that is because of gratitude. And he expresses his gratitude in the next 2 verses. So he starts off by expressing his gratitude towards Sri Shukadeva Goswami in the next 2 verses. And in that way, he is glorifying Sri Shukadeva Goswami. So also we can see this. So I said there are 6 verses that are spoken by Sri Pariksit Maharaj. The first 2 are glorification of the person Bhagavat, which is Sri Shukadeva Goswami. And the next 4 will be glorification of the book Bhagavat, the Srimad Bhagavatam, that he has, relished over the last 7 days. And that is, how you can also break up these 6 verses in these 2 categories. So he's going to glorify this person, Shukadeva Goswami. But the question is, why is he so nicely, what is the gratitude in his heart that he is feeling for Sri Shukadeva Goswami? So we will unpack that as we go for the next 2 verses. But try to understand that Pariksit Maharaj, Navadha Bhakti, the 9 processes, and who epitomizes Shravanam? Pariksit Maharaj. And who epitomizes Kirtanam? And I won't go through all the remaining 7, but try to imagine in your mind, where else in the universe do 2 personalities in those 9 limbs come together? Nowhere else. This is such a potent occasion that 2 out of those 9 are together at the same time. Sri Rupa Goswami has constructed this verse and put it in Padyavali. So, according to Sri Rupa Goswami, these are the 2 personalities that epitomize these 2 processes, and these 2 are the most important processes, Shravan and Kirtan. They are right here. So this is such a momentous occasion. And because of this momentous occasion that is present or that is going on, as you would have seen from Canto 1, the who's who of the spiritual world showed up. Even Narad Muni, Vyasadev, both, Vyasadev was the first one who narrated Srimad Bhagavatam to Shukadev Goswami. The inspiration for composing this wonderful literature came from Sri Narad Muni. They are sitting there, and so many other sages are sitting in that assembly just to listen from Shukadev Goswami. So, directly from Shukadev Goswami. So let's go to the 2nd verse of the chapter, which is the first verse spoken by Sri Pariksit Maharaj. Rajo Vacha Siddho Asmi Anugrihito Asmi Bhavata Karunatmana श्रावितो यच्च मे साक्षात् अनादि निधनो हरिः. So Rajo Vacha. So Parikshit Maharaj begins to speak. Now he says that Siddho Asmi Anugrihito Asmi. Siddha. I have become Siddha. Siddho Asmi. By hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam, I feel that I have become perfected. And Anugrihito Asmi. And he's not saying that out of pride. He's saying Anugrihito. Anugraha means, the meaning is gratitude. And I'm so full of gratitude because of your mercy. Bhavata Karunatmana. Out of your Karuna personified, my dear Shukadeva Goswami. Shravito means spoken. Shravana is to hear. Shravana means to proclaim, declare, or speak. So Shravito yachame sakshad. So that is the word I wanted. There are so many words to pick on here. Anadi nidhano harihi. You have spoken to me about Hari, who is Anadi, without beginning. Nidhan means without end. So without beginning and without end. The Hari without either of these. And Sakshat, that is the reason why he is so full of gratitude. So full of gratitude. That you have, what is the meaning of Sakshat? Hindi में कहते हैं ना, भगवान साक्षात प्रकट हुए. Sakshat means right in front, directly, personally present. So this is the BBT translation, and the word that corresponds to that is personally. He's personally present. So that hearing of the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami, is such a blessing for Parikshit Maharaj. So Srimad Bhagavatam, the book Bhagavat, is one thing, but hearing from a person Bhagavat. When I listen to Srila Prabhupada's lectures, in 20 minutes, I feel like I should just, of his lecture, just 20-minute lecture has so much impact. So, from, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, what are the 5 limbs, the 5 most important limbs of bhakti? Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Sadhu Sangha, Mathuravas, and Shri Murtira, Shraddhera Sevana. So we said, no, it's not just Shravanam. What is it actually? Bhagavat Shravana. Is it? No. It's not even Bhagavat Shravana. What is it really? So in Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is Bhagavat Shravana, no doubt. But we keep saying Bhagavat Shravan, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says Bhagavat Shravan in the verse that he has put. These 5 limbs, Ei Panchera Anga, what is that? Swalpa Sangera, Krishna, something like that, you get full Krishna Prema. So there is Bhagavat Shravana, definitely. If you go, you must go deeper. This is a gem that you have held. So in Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, when the 64 limbs are being described, and these are the 5 most important, you know what is the full expansion of this? Shrimad Bhagavatam Arthanam Asvado Rasikaihi Saha. See, there is so much. Shrimad Bhagavatam, that is one thing. Arthanam, the meanings, and there is not one meaning, there are so many meanings that you can churn out. Otherwise, one commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam would have been enough. So many acharyas have written so many commentaries. Arthanam, Aswado. Aswado means to relish, not to understand, to analyze, to do all the logical. Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to be relished. Aswado. And you do not do aswadan with a logician. Who do you do aswadan with? Rasikaihi saha. With a rasika. And who is the topmost rasik? Speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shuka mukhad amrita dravya samyutam. So from the mouth of Shuka, pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So the word rasa is coming 2 times in this. This is one of the Mangalacharan verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The first 3 verses are known as the Mangalacharana. The first one tells us about the Sambandha, then Abhidheya, the process, and then this final one is the Prayojana, what we actually get out of relishing Srimad Bhagavatam, that you are immersed in this reservoir of rasa. That is the purpose of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore we have to take this statement to heart. Srimad Bhagavatam arthanam aswado rasikaihi saha. Your progress of reading Srimad Bhagavatam may get slowed down a little bit by this, but it doesn't matter. The goal is not to complete it. The goal is to relish it. So that is the reason, and this is why Sri Shukadeva Goswami is so full of gratitude that personally, did I say Shukadeva Goswami? Pariksit Maharaj. Because personally, Sri Shukadeva Goswami, in the 19th chapter of the first canto, he says that, I'm so grateful that you are here and you have agreed to sit down for 7 days. It is said that sadhus and saints don't stay for even as long as it takes to milk a cow. And 7 days, oh my God, so much mercy. There is definitely everything to be gratituous about, to be thankful. From the bottom of his heart, he is full of gratitude for Shukadeva Goswami. And that is why he is saying this verse. Okay? Next. Natyadbhutam aham manye mahatam achyutatmanam agyeshu tapatapteshu bhuteshu yadanugraha. So he is saying that na ati adbhutam aham manye. It is not at all surprising. Ati adbhut. Not at all surprising. Aham manye, I consider it not at all surprising that Mahatam Achyutatmanam, one who is absorbed in Lord Krishna, a Mahatma, a saintly, a great personality like you, has shown such mercy. Bhuteshu yad anugraha. Anugraha, again the same word. That you have shown so much mercy to me, who gives, and you are desperate. Wherever you go, you try to look for people who are desperate for help. Tapatapteshu, who are burning. Agyeshu, who are ignorant and who are burning in the fire of material existence. Tapatapteshu, they're getting fried in this, heat of material existence. And your mercy is showering on all these people. So wherever you are going, you are showering your mercy. And not again, recalling, if you remember Nityanand Pran Prabhuji's lecture, he was saying, he was talking on this verse, Tatte Nukampam Susamikshamano, that mercy is not about appeasing me. Can I have what I want? It is about what is best for me. Now, it is not written anywhere. Of course, it is written that Pariksit Maharaj himself could have countered the curse. It's not written, it's my speculation, but I'll just say it, that even Shukadev Goswami, if he was merciful, he could have negated the curse. He's all powerful. But the right thing to do at that time, death is going to come. Even Hiranyakashipu asked Brahmaji, he said, I cannot give that. Then he came up with this all weird scheme to, think that he has attained immortality. So mortality will be there. It is how best we use the time between now and our day of death that matters. So that is what he gave him. He made the best possible use of those last 7 days. And that was his anugraha, that mercy. There could have been absolutely no other way to better spend his time. So this should lead us to think, how are we spending our time? Now, this doesn't mean for all of you. This may be for those people who listen in the future, because you all spent your Memorial Day weekend so wonderfully immersing in Srimad Bhagavatam, morning till night. So this is how we should spend all our time. Or yes, go out, do your work, have to have a livelihood, sleep, all those things. But so many other things we do that can be cut out and replaced with Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'm not saying Srimad Bhagavatam and only one. There are those 5 most important limbs. Any of those limbs is fine. I am saying it as a upalakshana, as a extension, Srimad Bhagavatam or any of those. That's how we should use our time. Everybody has 24 hours. People may have different intelligence, people may have different amount of money, but everyone, me, Bill Gates, all of you, everyone has been given 24 hours in a day. So we are all equal, literally equal, samadarsha, in that sense that we all have equal amount of time. But the focus with which we use our time, the time expands or contracts based on that. Our focus actually determines how much time we have. How many of you, it has happened to me so many times, on the day before the exam, when you start reading the book or your whatever, doesn't it kind of go in so nicely? Every semester, oh my God, this subject actually makes sense. This actually I can understand. And it's interesting. Why is the exam tomorrow? If I had few more days, I could really go into it and really understand it. It's so interesting. It's so understandable. And yet we did not do it throughout the semester. So what is different? The textbook is the same. The material is the same. Our capacity is also the same. The time is the same. We had actually more time before the whole semester. Now we are only doing it in the last day. What has changed? Our focus. So like this, if we focus our time on Srimad Bhagavatam and cut out all the nonsense and look at your lives, there's too much. Now I'm not saying for everyone, but how much ever that one can take out, or make a plan that I will wrap up. We have built up so much samsara that now we have to deal with it. Now there's no option. You buy a rental property, now there's something called AMT, alternate minimum tax or something. This and that. we got rid of all that, like, just try to simplify the life. And when the life is simple, there may be some monetary loss, but this will be the gain. That you will be able to focus on Srimad Bhagavatam. This is so important, as evidenced by Pariksit Maharaj, his statement. So we should make every effort to immerse ourselves, and it is really relishable, and try to go find out those Rasika devotees. There are many, and hear from them. And yourself immerse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Try to make out meanings. Now, I'm not saying come up with your own interpretations. That would be not correct. Okay, you don't start interpreting, okay, this means this, or, I have this realization, and I am Radharani, and I am this, and I am that. No, that's not. But there are so many legitimate ways of doing this churning. For example, one of the things that you can do is from the word by word meaning, and these are some of the techniques anyway. From the word by word meaning, you construct a translation of the verse, maybe by line. There are always 4 lines in each verse. For each line, construct a translation. That's what I do. Here are the 4 lines, and I try to write out the meaning of each, and then match it with the translation that is given, and see how well you did, or make corrections, and so on. That's one exercise you can do. You'll really go deep into the verse, and you might get something more than what is there in the translation or the commentary. No Acharya will say, my commentary is 100% complete. There is nothing else to be said or realized from this verse. Nobody will say that. There is so much to be drawn. Or another one, in the whole chapter, give yourself the exercise. I want to pick out, depending on the size of the chapter and the intensity of the topic, let's say, pick out 5 most important verses of this chapter. Now you will struggle. You'll like, oh, every verse is so nice. And then, oh, I have to pick 5. Now you'll do this contemplation. Which verse do I like? There's no right or wrong answer. But that exercise of going through it will just make you so intimate with the verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's the purpose. Now, whether you come up with 5 or 4 or 6, that's not very important. And write down these things in your book. So like this, you can do Artha Vichar, Srimad Bhagavatam Arthanam Asvado. So you can do Artha Asvadan, the relishment of the meaning. And by this, you're not coming up with your own interpretations or anything. You're just giving yourself more sort of exercises to immerse in Bhagavatam. Okay, so these are, and there are many other techniques that you can invention. There's nothing wrong in that. Now these were the first 2 verses glorifying the person or expressing one's gratitude to the person Bhagavat. Now the book Bhagavat. The first word itself says it all. Purana samhitam etam ashraushma bhavato vayam yasyam khaluttamah shloko Bhagavan anuvarnyate. So now, Pariksit Maharaj says that this Purana is, or this Etam, not this Purana. That word Purana there in blue color is not referring to Bhagavat Purana. Etam is referring to Bhagavat Purana. This is Purana Samhitam. It's the, Samhita. It's the complete essence, the juice of all the Puranas has been put into Etam, into this book, Srimad Bhagavatam. Ashraushma bhavato vayam. So, and we have heard it from you. And the focus also is on the word vayam. Vayam means we, not I, we. And Pariksit Maharaj is speaking, so the thing that is being conveyed here is it's not just that one person that is sitting there, that whole assembly of the who's who, Narad Muni, Vyasadev. So there are multiple Srimad Bhagavatams that were said. The Bhagavatam that was originally said, like Guru Maharaj was describing yesterday, the 4 verses Chatur Shloki came from Lord Krishna to Brahmaji. And then there would have been a different version that was narrated by different portions or whatever, by Vyasadev to Shukadev Goswami. Then from Shukadev Goswami to Pariksit Maharaj. And there one of the people sitting in that assembly was Suta Goswami. And when he spoke it to the sages of Naimisharanya, that is the version that we have in our hands. That is what got finally recorded, what Suta Goswami is saying and has been passed down. So, in this particular case, Pariksit Maharaj is speaking on behalf of all those sages sitting in Shukratal, the place where Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken. And he's saying it is the essence of all the Puranas. We should stop at 9:15. Is that the plan? So, first of all, he is glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam. Next 3 verses are beautiful. And we will, there are again so many things, Any Srimad Bhagavatam class, what to speak of 1 hour, 10 hours, 10 days, even they say Bhagavat Saptaha, hardly anything can be covered in Bhagavat Saptaha, you can just touch on things. So it's a lifelong thing. So again, we'll only pick out small portions. So next one. Bhagavan Takshakadibhyo Mrityubhyo na bibhemyaham Pravishto Brahma Nirvanam Abhayam Darshitam Tvaya. So he is saying that, my dear Bhagavan, he is referring to Shukadev Goswami as Bhagavan. Takshaka Adibhyo and Na Bibhemya Aham. I am not afraid of whoever this guy Takshak is. Adi means etc. Whatever that guy may be, whoever it may be, or any other guy may show up, I don't know, whatever may be the case. I have abhayam. I have become completely fearless. So this is one of the result of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. One is completely fearless of anything. Pravishto Brahma Nirvanam. And even not even that, not just fearless in this life. He has entered the Brahma Nirvana stage. And this is actually true. His soul is completely situated in transcendence. He is completely separate from the material body at this point. And that is also shown by this one word which I didn't speak about, mrityubhyo na bibhemyaham. So first of all, he says, I am not afraid of takshak or any of those other, forms of death that I might encounter. But mrityubhyo means repeated birth and repeated death, basically. It's plural, mrityubhyo. I am not afraid of repeated deaths either. And that's why he says, Pravishto Brahma Nirvanam. I am completely situated in transcendence. So he did not technically die when Takshak bit him. He had already been liberated. The death was of the body. He was probably, I'm making this up here, looking at, that body died. Like, in one of the commentaries or somewhere I read, that it is like, when you wake up from a dream in which you died. Have you maybe seen a dream where you died? And when you wake up, how do you look at it as? Oh, that guy, me, who, whatever, in that dream died, but you go on with your life, move on with your life. There's nothing to fear about, you forget it in 2 minutes. So like that he was. That's how he was looking about his own body at this point of time. Such a powerful place to be upon hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from such a person as Shukadev Goswami. So, please note here, Pravishto Brahma Nirvanam. That's one result of of relishing, of being, I don't like to say reading, this reading Srimad Bhagavatam somehow in my mind makes it little diluted. And I say relishing Srimad Bhagavatam or absorption in Srimad Bhagavatam. For me, that gives a little bit more meaningful experience of saying those words. Then the next one, Anujani himam brahman vacham yacham yadhokshaje mukta kamashayam chetaha praveshya vrisyajam yasun. So, the second, again, we'll make it quick. The second one is Mukta Kamashayam Chetaha. Chetaha means my mind is now free of Kama Asha, the desire for sense gratification. All desires. So, hearing or relishing Srimad Bhagavatam leads to complete cessation of all sense gratificatory desires. But you have to relish it. You have to go so deep in it. If you have a choice to turn on Netflix, you have 2 hours, suddenly a meeting got cancelled or something. Turn on Netflix or pick up the Srimad Bhagavatam. You should run towards that. Obviously you shouldn't even have that. Why pay whatever, $10, $12, $15 anyway when you're not even using it? Simple, save money. But anyway, even if you should just run towards I got free time. Okay, here is my ongoing project, 12th canto, 6th chapter, I'm on that, let me continue with my, whatever you're doing, writing down your own translations from the word by word, comparing it. And by the way, the translations of different acharyas also slightly differ. Srila Prabhupada's translations, Jiva Goswami's, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's, they're slightly different. Look at them. Maybe you can match one of them. All that is fine, No, Srila Prabhupada would never say that mine is it. He recommends going into the commentaries of previous acharyas. And now, thankfully to His Holiness Bhanu Swami, we have English translations of all these things. So, there is no reason to not absorb yourself in all these things. So the next thing is, it leads to cessation of material desires. Now we are on the second last verse. This was the 6th verse. It had 6 verses. Now we are on 6 minus 1. So it is the 5th verse. So is this what Bhagavatam tells us? To attain nirvana, to get free of sense gratification. Is that the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam? What is the highest purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam? Yes. And so very nicely Pariksit Maharaj is glorifying the book Bhagavat. That these two we get by realizing the Aishwarya of Bhagavan. And then in the last verse, this is the last verse, the last few words spoken by Shukadev Goswami. Pariksit Maharaj. Ajnanam cha nirastam me ज्ञान विज्ञान निष्ठया भवता दर्शितं क्षेमं परम भगवतः padam. So first he says, Ajnanam cha nirastam me, that my ignorance has been completely eradicated or destroyed. Nirasta means to eradicate. Jnana Vijnana Nishtaya, I am firmly fixed in Jnana and Vijnana, all those things. But what you have shown me, Bhavata Darshitam Kshemam. So what you have Darshitam, what you have really, the best part that I have gained out of this is Kshemam, the most auspicious, Param, the supreme, Bhagavataha Padam, the supreme Lord Hari. The person Hari, the personal aspect of Lord Hari, which is, this is the reference to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the crown jewel of Srimad Bhagavatam. So here he has covered everything. Now this completes the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. It tells us about the Supreme, the great Lord, and it tells us about the sweet Lord. So this sixth verse is saying, the sixth last verse is that you have revealed to me that which is the most auspicious, the supreme personal feature of the Lord. And this is the ripened fruit. Galitam phalam, gala hua phal. Gala means not decayed. We think gala means decayed. Galitam means the ripe. Ripe, it's just, it is said in the commentary to that verse, Nigamakalpataror Galitam Phalam, that whole fruit is not fruit, but it is juice. There's no even skin, no seed, no anything. It's a fruit made of juice. It's just juice in the form of a fruit. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. So please relish Srimad Bhagavatam, immerse yourself in Srimad Bhagavatam. I will end with on a sweet note, even though we are discussing these heavy verses, last verses, the final words of Pariksit Maharaj, but I will end on a very beautiful verse, a personal composition by Sri Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So after describing the 64 limbs of bhakti and then saying that the last 5 are the most important, okay? Then just to kind of add his own satire, humor, and just to show the, like, Sri Rupa Goswami is just the his compositions are just out of the world. So let's recite this verse and I'll go through the meaning and you will relish. And here he's glorifying the limb of bhakti known as, what is it known as? Srimad Bhagavatam Arthanam Aswado Rasikaihi Saha. So next time you are asked what is this limb, you should say the full thing, okay? Because that conveys the punch. Otherwise, so that is like the relishment and absorption of Srimad Bhagavatam instead of saying I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Again, I'm just using that in a funny way, but yeah. So let us recite this. This is in a beautiful meter called Mandakranta. Those who have studied Nectar of Instruction, this is like the 11th verse. Krishna syochai pranaya vasati preyasibhyopi radha shanke nitah sapadi dashama skandha padyavalīnām. Varna karna dhvanipathikata manupurvyad bhavadbhi. Hamho dimbha parama shubhadan hanta dharmartha kaman. Yadgarhantah sukhamayamami mokshamapyakshipanti. So you want to know the meaning of this verse? So the meaning, this is His Holiness Bhanu Swami's translation, and I have color coded it to generally correspond to the words and the verse. So now you know, like Srila Prabhupada, how many times he says the word rascal? Unlimited number of times. Like, so Rupa Goswami, now you know one more word, hum ho dimbha. Now when you want to tell your children, you know, you're an idiot, you'll say hum ho dimbha. So that's a new word that you've learned, coming directly from the pen of Sri Rupa Goswami. So he says, "Oh idiots, hum ho dimbha, how unfortunate you are. I think that you must have been hearing one by one the syllables, varnaha karna dhvani, of the 10th canto, Dashama Skandha Padyavaleenam. So you must have been hearing the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dashama Skandha Padyavaleenam. Because why? What is the symptom of it? Because now you are Parama Shubhadan Dharma Artha Kama Hanta. You are denouncing the most Shubhada, the most Shubha goals of Dharma Artha Kama. You're saying, "Arey, this whole Dharma Artha Kama is useless." And even decrying the fourth goal, moksha. Yad garahanta sukhamami mokshamapyakshipanti. That even this fourth goal of moksha, which is most blissful, even that you are decrying. Arey, I don't even want moksha. You are such an idiot. You are giving up moksha. You must definitely have heard the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is a satirical way of saying, of establishing the sweetness. I wouldn't say the greatness, but the sweetness of Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are 5 verses like this, one for each limb of bhakti. For the Murti, anybody remembers what he says? Don't look at that Govinda standing on the banks of Yamuna. If you love your family, friends, relatives, don't even look at that Govinda. Because even if you once look at that Govinda, you will forget your family and friends. So in the same mood, you know, like that he is writing that, "You fool, you're decrying moksha? What a fool." So this is the bliss of reading Sri Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu from the pen of Sri Rupa Goswami. Okay, so we will stop here. And then, by the way, next, this is the last verse, the one we read before, where he glorifies Srimad Bhagavatam. And then so again, connecting it to what Radhikaraman Prabhu said, Namaha, so that he did that. Then glorification of the person Bhagavat and book Bhagavat. He did that extensively. And then the last one is to ask for something. Well, there is not much to ask for. He has already received everything. He asked in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, "What are the duties? Please explain me," of a person about to die. And then so many other questions he asked. So he has already made so many requests, and he did make a final request that, please give me permission to leave. So he makes that request, and Shukadev Goswami just gets up and leaves. He spent 7 days. He's, "No, bye-bye, I'll wait for here, I'll wait for your funeral, and, I'll, put some flowers." He just gets up and leaves. It may sound a little heartless. Just like as soon as he got out of the womb, he just left, and Vyasadeva is like running behind him, "Oh, my son." So from this Rasika, he turns into this, from our vision standpoint, he turns into this cold, heartless person. But that's not who he is. He is the Param Rasik. So then he leaves, and then Takshak comes, bites him, and his body is, annihilated, and so on. It's a long chapter, and then Janmejaya, his son, all that stuff. So that's the end of today's discussion. Thank you so much for tolerating me, and thank you very much to all of you my gratitude to Guru Maharaj for giving me this chance to share something that I have relished myself with all of you, and kindly forgive any mistakes, and if there are any questions or corrections or comments, please you can share for a few minutes if there's any. Yes, Prabhuji. I'm not qualified to answer any questions that come from you. But
I just wanted to express my appreciation, Prabhu. It was a very, very wonderful class, and you very beautifully revealed the meaning of these last words, both of Shukadev Goswami and of Maharaja Pariksit, which I think is a fitting conclusion to our weekend. So thank you. That was so beautifully put together, well-researched, organized, and most importantly, you really did allow us to relish these words, Asvada. It was a very wonderful demonstration of that line that was the focus of your class, Asvada Rasika Isaha. So thank you so much for that. I just wanted to note one thing that you said at the very beginning, which I found quite moving. When the last thing that Shukadev Goswami says is, "What more do you wish to hear?" And I think that signals something very, very important, which is there's never an end to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam.
yes.
Even as he is leaving, and he knows that Takshak is on his way, he's in flight, still he says, "What more do you wish to hear?" Because he knows that death is just a temporary pause. The hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam will continue even after death. So thank you for that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is Aswadana. And I have read those commentaries which I mentioned. This is not there in any of those. So this is Aswadana. Prabhuji came up or realized it internally, or must have heard from some other Rasik, and he is himself a Rasik. And yes, this is Aswadan in real time. Okay. Oh, yes, Mataji.
I'm not familiar with this section of the Bhagavatam, and I'm very grateful that you picked these verses as the grand finale of our retreat, because when we consider the gravity of the moment, the hour, that the emperor of the world is going to be breathing his last, a pure devotee who was dramatically saved as an embryo, there's just this, you can feel the grief, the heaviness, and it very much matches our mood. Guru Maharaj invites us to this spiritual bubble for this weekend annually, and to leave Radha Damodar, to leave the magic of Gita Nagari, the association of devotees, to leave Guru Maharaj and go back to work and hamster wheel program. There's just this, grief and heaviness. And so I'm very grateful the verses you chose really match the mood. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the breakfast will be served at 10:30. So the session with Yamuna Jivan Prabhu for reflection and integration will happen right now for 1 hour. And then by the time it's done, the breakfast will be ready, the to-go boxes will be ready. So please stay in the temple room. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Contrary to what he just said, you don't have to stay in the temple room. You're welcome to take a 5-minute break. We'll begin at about 9:30. For those who would like to join back, please come back. And we will try to tie in all of the things we've heard throughout the weekend together. This is kind of like that, exactly what it is, integration circle. All right? Hare Krishna. 9:30.
You can read it on your computer, but you have to buy the book.
Okay.
E-book.
That is Jiva Goswami's
Krama Sandarbha. Krama Sandarbha. Sandarbha. Yeah, that is the commentary on Bhagavad. Sararth Darshini.
That is also Bhagavatam commentary.
Yeah, full Bhagavatam commentary.
And then the verse you mentioned.
आइए उधर चल के बात करते हैं। आप बोले थे क्वेश्चंस पूछेंगे।
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So for those who are going to participate in this session, I request you to maybe sit down where you are. And if you're not participating and would like to say Hari Bol to the devotees, because leaving the devotees is like the worst thing in the world, please do so outside the temple room. Okay, so we have a really small group, and that's fine. So for those who are here, I'd like you to, we're going to do a 3-step process to sort of put a ribbon and a bow to this entire experience at the retreat. So first, I'd like you to maybe